the game, and I'm willing to play this by myself.
What's going on, everybody? So I'm back with another reaction. This time, it's to none other than Dr. Umar. Like I said, I am not the biggest Dr. Umar fan, but doesn't mean that he doesn't have very good points that he needs to get off of his chest all the time, and some very good points that do sit home and resonate. This one I wanted to react to was him talking about black male leadership, which is needed, right? Fellas, we need to take back what belongs to us, which is our people, our women, our children. And it's very important that we start this conversation more than this, gender war battle that we keep doing in our community. Let's get back to basics. How can we take back the leaderships of our family? Ladies, it's not all about money. It's not all about who's sexy. Fellas, it's not all about she bad, look what she got working with back there. It's not about that. It's about family. So let's get into the video. I don't want to hold y'all. Without further ado,
what I want to actually get into here, and good game, way to close that out, man, because that's good closure on that conversation. I want to talk about the leadership aspect, because we got a lot of ladies always talking about, they're having troubles finding a man that's qualified to lead a family. And when we talk about a man who's qualified to lead, I want you to define the best way you can what you feel a man needs to actually be able to head and lead a household.
That's going to vary woman to woman. Some women want an aggressive dictator. Some women want
They'll never say that.
They won't, but they do. Some women do. Other women want a man who's more of a facilitator, who takes the lead when necessary, but would much rather collaborate with his queen. You follow? So we have to look at the style of husband a woman is looking for. And to my sisters, I would challenge them respectfully. If the man you want shows up with the ability to lead, do you have enough trust in yourself, in respect for black manhood, to allow him the opportunity to lead you? Because let me tell you what I've had women tell me in therapy. Dr. Umar, I found a man of my dreams. Takes care of me, takes care of my kids. I don't have to work. I trust him. He don't cheat. No issues. But guess what? I was conditioned by my mother and my grandmother to never depend on a man and never let a man make decisions for you. I know he's what I need. I know I can trust him, but the conditioning in my family, that intergenerational, we don't trust or respect black men, has gotten so deep into my mind that the very man I waited my whole life for, I might lose because I can't get control of my issues. So when a sister said, you looking for a leader, are you ready to receive him when he shows up? You see that?
Yeah.
Because a lot of women can't relinquish that, even though our sisters have been punished far too long because of the white man's war against the black man that sends us to the penitentiary and to the graveyard. Black women have had to lead on their own for 50, 60 years. So they've gotten so comfortable not having to answer to a man. Look at this now. You're talking about 3 generations. No man. Now one comes up, traditional family values, church going man, spiritual man, and she can't let him lead, because even though she's tired of being in charge, there's something about the power she don't want to relinquish. And that's a big reason why a lot of women don't have husbands. It's not because they can't find them. It's because they cannot respect a man who shows up with traditional black masculine traits.
Oh, so is that a bigger?
all right, so let's talk about it. Right? Very true. I mean, listen, there was a number of battles that I believe the black community had to fight Definitely the war on drugs was one of them, right? Another battle that we had to fight in our community, feminism. Feminism was one of, to me, the most detrimental things that could have happened to our community, period, right? It basically had our women believing, like I said in the previous video, I don't need my man. And there's, like I said, there's a number of reasons, if the man wasn't in the household, if the man was in jail, if the man went to the military, if the man, just chose not to be around. But in a lot of cases though, right? Back in the prior to 1965, our women required marriage before they had the children. We came up with this movement and we followed a movement that had absolutely nothing to do with us, right? We were fine together. We were married at an 85% rate prior to 1965. That wave of feminism destroyed us. It pulled us apart, right? So then if we start to look at what they did with the welfare movement, with the getting the man out the house, we had so many wars that we had to fight just to say, we could be comfortable in this country. Ridiculous, right? Where we're at now, how far we've made it now is astonishing. But what has happened to us is we are not together like we should be, right? We have our, sons growing up with no dads. Our daughters have absolutely no idea what it is to find a positive role model to look up to as a man, right? So the leadership that we as men need to take back, right, is one, raising our sons. It's gonna have to start there, right? We have gang culture that is in these major cities as no one would believe. Kids are getting murdered. Drill music, literally rapping about the body that was just caught the other night of a 13-year-old kid, 14-year-old kid. This has to stop, right? We really need to come together and figure out a way to end this. As men, we don't need the women involved with these specific conversations. We need to have this conversation, right? Us men need to get together and figure out a way to get this community back together. Black male leadership, Black masculinity is needed. Our women crave it. They crave it, right? So how can we get them back there? So let's go continue to listen to this conversation on Dr. Umar.
Wow. Is that a bigger issue than the fact that it's not enough of these brothers out here? It's really
both. It's both. Now, it's not enough of us to go around. That's true. But I will tell sisters the same thing I would tell a brother who says he can't find a good African-American woman. Go to Brazil. I just came from Central America a couple days ago. Those Afro-Latino sisters is fine. I was in Jamaica. Go to the Caribbean. Go to London. There's more black women in the world than any other female. So if you're looking for a black woman, you can find one. Well, guess what, sisters? Africa has no shortage of black men. Caribbean has no shortage of black men.
They're scared of them African brothers.
Well, I was going to say, you know what the difference is? You know what the difference is, right?
Now let's talk about that real quick. So, do I agree with the whole passport bro movement? 100%, right? I agree that men need to go where they feel needed and wanted. And if America is not the place where black men could feel needed by their women, there's other places in the world that you can go to get another black woman that'll treat you right. You can't get that in your home. I'm not with this whole, saving your community when it comes down to finding people that are going to be unruly and do not want black male leadership, do not want black masculinity. That's fine. Those women can be over there and do what they want to do. Fellas, to have children that look like you, that resemble you, that hold your skin complexion, that, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. My wife is American, but I knew when I found my wife, right? The things that I was looking for, I had to find certain ground qualities, right? I had to know that my wife was in a church. Now, to say that you find a church woman, they're the best woman alive, no. I'm saying that look for a woman that has base, right? She's grounded, right? She believes in something bigger than herself. Not just say it, because a lot of Christians say they believe in something bigger than them, but do they really, right? Find a woman that looks at men for leadership, for protection, for guidance, right? You basically want to put yourself in a position, and I hear this from Crimson Cure. I watch her channel all the time. He always talks about giving the 4 P's, right? That's protection, provision, procreation, and problem solving. Those are the 4 P's that a man should have to offer a woman, and also a woman should look for in a man, right? So those were the things that I looked for when I looked for my wife. And yes, she's American. You know, she wanted to be a wife in her 20s. It wasn't, I'm going to wait until I'm 30, 35. I'm going to build and focus on my career. And no, my wife, I met her when she was 24. A few years later, she became my wife. We've been married now for 7 years, right? But this is how you look, you vet, fellas. You want to find somebody that is willing to get on your program. That's being a leader. You can't lead by being a partner. Partners are meant for business. So let's continue this. Kind of went on a little segue. I know he's talking about finding sisters in Brazil.
In traditional African culture, the man is the man and the woman is the woman. So the whole snapping your neck, cursing me out in public,
it ain't gonna work.
It's not happening in Nigeria. I'm gonna tell you right now. It's not happening in the Congo. It's not happening. You understand? It's not happening in Botswana. You see? So if the sister wants, and don't get me wrong, they won't have to work. Those brothers on the continent and many of the brothers in the Caribbean, they are that traditional black masculinity that our sisters crave. But are you humble enough to receive that? You'll get what you want, but can you let them lead? Because that goes against the dominant trend of thought coming out of the radical black feminist camp, where you don't answer to no man, you don't take orders from no man, you don't even make a decision with a man. You are in charge. He is the enemy. So if you're a black woman coming from a radical black feminist tradition, the last thing you want is a African or Caribbean brother, because they're not having that. You're going to respect them and they're going to respect you. You see, in America, cooking may be something that women consider to be beneath them.
Slavery.
In Africa, our sisters guard the kitchen. They don't even want you in it. They proud because what you consume keeps your spirit alive. So they are very protective. The kitchen is almost a sanctuary. In America, oh, I don't feel like cooking. And you see, so it's a whole different orientation. So the same thing for brothers. If you want a sister with old-fashioned female traits, go to Africa, go to the Caribbean. But
totally agree, right? So, you know, this goes in reverse for sisters as well, right? No one's saying that, oh, you know, the biggest talking point that you hear is, you know, oh, well, black men don't give us nothing to submit to. The black men don't give us what we need. The black men are not building. The black men are not. Why are you talking to those black men? There's plenty. 56% of black men are single and in the middle class. You can work with that. He doesn't have to be a multimillionaire, right? He doesn't have to be at the finish line for you to find him. He just needs to have a direction he's heading into. If you see a clear direction, why are you not looking at that man as an option? That's what you have to ask yourself, ladies, right? If I see a sister that she wants to be a wife, she's molding herself into that. Why wouldn't I work on trying to get that woman to be a wife before I just, you know, she's not ready yet and that's it? We have to give each other grace. Yet we also still have to give each other chances and opportunities. And if we just write people off because they're not ready-made where we want them to be, that's an issue. That's a fight that we will be fighting until we're dead. This is why a lot of us are literally growing old and dying alone. The way we have to stop that is really coming together and really putting down some thought to the options that's out there and choosing correctly, finding the man or woman that fits our basic needs of life and work with that person. Every fella that I know, every man that I know don't want their wife outside working a job. We want our wife to do something, but to say you want your wife out there punching the clock, no. You could work for the family, right? We could figure out something. We could come up with a business idea and you work for the family. We do that. So this is basic rules that I'm trying to lay down. You know, over here on my side, we believe in marriage. Not every person believes in marriage, I know. On my side, it's all about marriage. So listen, if you're not with that, you feel like you could just be single forever, and you feel like you could just work out a dynamic without being married, good luck. See how that works. But over here, get married.
But sticking here in the American theater, here's a big issue that Black women have to deal with. We got to deal with it too. This whole thing of serial monogamy versus the taboo of polygyny. Many Black men, because we get our cake and get to eat it too, we are outnumbered. You guys are in Atlanta, one of the most outnumbered states, right? Black men, Black women, outnumbered cities. We get to have our cake and eat it too. Because of that, we tend not to tell women the truth that very few men, especially alpha brothers, are monogamous. Most alpha men, most men, period, are polygamous. That doesn't mean they're going to have two women at the same time all the time. It means that during the course of the relationship with the primary queen, you will entertain other feminine energy along the way. Mm-hmm. We're not honest with the women. We don't tell them that. We'll tell them it's only you, baby, and I love only you, baby. So every woman thinks if I find the right one, I never have to worry about having to share him, when that's really not the truth for a lot of the men. Now, that might be an issue of preference, but then we got to look at an issue of predicament. It's not enough Black men to go around. So if a sister wants an American African brother, she don't want my African brother, my Caribbean brother, my South Central American brother. She's going to have to consider a polygynous arrangement. Now, when I say that,
all right, let's talk about that real quick before I end this live stream. So, listen, what he's leaving out is that men, a lot of women think that we have a lot of options, right? That a lot of women feel like the man that they're looking at is the average man. In reality, women tend to look at the top tier man in their surroundings. They tend to look at what most other women want, and they tend to not want a man no other woman wants that man. So knowing that, right? That man, now that you're looking at him, Sheila's looking at him, Rhonda's looking at him, Tiffany's looking at him, you know, Wanda's looking at him, even Becky's looking at him. He tends to have a ton of options. But if you look at the average man is not out here causing havoc. He's sitting at home. He's doing nothing. Or he's working at a job. He's bringing in a decent living. He might be a truck driver. He might be an Amazon worker. He might be working for FedEx, UPS, right? He might be a post office deliverer, delivering mail. He might be a cable guy. The average man is not outside having so many options of women, he could even practice polygamy. That is for the rich. That's for, if you even look at it, something more cultural as Islamic relationship. But when it comes down to the average American man, he's not out here with options out the yin yang that where it's like, yo, I just could get any woman I want and I can have 5 wives today. So let's be real. I understand what he's saying because he's a polygamist. The average man does not have the options like that. Average man is out there working, hustling, and he wants one wife. Many reasons why, right? Yeah, we could say in ourselves like, let me make myself a little big over here. Many of us could turn around and say like, okay, well, men biologically have this urge to have multiple wives, multiple women. Innately, I believe that's true, right? But a lot of that has to do with culture and the way we were raised as well, right? So the way that we American black men, right? I'm from the West Indies, I'm Trinidadian, right? And even there, we're raised to technically have one wife, right? We're raised predominantly, especially black men, we are raised predominantly in a matriarchal society where the women are the head of households. The women are dictating, and they tend to teach us young boys to be kind, soft, loving to one woman. Now, what happens when you get older is a different story, but that's what tends to be the topic in, black households, especially to young boys, because we get mothered so much by our mothers, right? She's not going to tell you, yo, go out there and fulfill all your sexual urges and try to get 5 wives, and it's better for the household, and it's better for, like, our mothers are not out here teaching us that. Not in no widespread mass thing that's happening. The problem is a lot of those guys that, women are not seeing, they're getting overlooked. The guys that will make great husbands usually are in someone's friend zone. They're getting overlooked. The guy that has 5 different women checking him out, or, there's a plethora of options, that's usually who gets looked at. But trust me, ladies, the guys that's in your DMs, the guys that's hitting you up, asking you for just a date, just an opportunity, what you doing tonight? They don't have a ton of options. They really don't. They really don't. It might just be something about them that you just not attracted to. But then there's a lot of women that are not attracted to those men either. Because if you was attracted to them, there's 15 other women behind you that's attracted to him as well. So anyways, I wanted to end it on that note. I don't want this to go on for long. We're going to continue the conversation. So please jump in the comments, like, subscribe for more content. Until then, peace.
Crazy right here. Something new. It's official. Cause it's me. Come on. It's the game. And I'm willing to play this by myself.